If your workplace benefits include a retirement account, like a 401k, 403b, or 457 plan, you may wonder what's going to happen to it if you leave your job. How you handle an old retirement plan is a critical decision that affects your entire financial future. This podcast will review your options and the retirement account rules so you can wisely handle a plan with an ex-employer. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining me. I'm Laura Adams, an author, financial spokesperson, speaker, founder of the Money Stack newsletter, and host of the Money Girl podcast with 43 million downloads. If you're not already subscribed to the Money Stack, you can do that for free at lauradadams.com. That's one way to get the Money Girl podcast. You can also subscribe directly to the podcast in your app, and that's a great way to make sure you never miss an episode. Now we're doing 2 weekly shows. They come out on Wednesdays and Fridays. And if you have a question you'd like me to cover on a show, you can leave it on our voicemail line by calling 302-364-0308. And of course, you can send me an email using my contact page at lauradadams.com. Okay, let's talk about having a workplace retirement plan. And of course, they come with lots of benefits. So, I want to briefly review what those are. When you've got a workplace retirement plan, like a 401k, you own it. It is yours, and any vested balance contributed by your employer is also yours. You can take that with you when you leave a job. And I want to make sure that you understand that, because this is something that I actually did not know when I first started working. One of the reasons I did not enroll in a 401k right away was because I thought, well, I'm not going to stay in this job forever. And what if the employer can hold back some of that money? Well, the money that you put in from your paycheck is always yours, and its growth. And any money your employer puts in through matching or profit sharing, it may come with a vesting schedule, so you do have to be vested for that portion of the account. But, basically, you're going to get to take the bulk of that account and all of what you've put in plus the growth, take that with you when you leave. And it doesn't matter if you quit, if you got fired, your company was downsized, the same rules apply no matter why your employment ends. So you should always participate if offered a workplace retirement plan, because it comes with terrific benefits. So with a traditional retirement account, these allow you to defer taxes on your contributions and the investment growth in the account until you take withdrawals in retirement. Now, there are other types called Roth accounts. These are taxed up front, but they do allow you to avoid tax on all your investment growth, giving you tax-free withdrawals in retirement. So I always encourage you to use a Roth at work when you have that option, and most plans do. It is available to you no matter your income, unlike a Roth IRA. So everyone is eligible to participate in a Roth at work. So if you qualify for a retirement plan and you are not participating, now is the time to enroll. You want to contribute as much as possible, even if it's just a small amount. You can always increase your contributions annually until you regularly invest at least 10 to 15% of your pre-tax gross income. That's a really good goal. If you can get to 15% of your income, especially doing that early in your career, you're going to set yourself up for a lot of success. But once you've got a retirement plan at work open, a common mistake is leaving the job and then forgetting about that plan with an old employer, or thinking that you can't continue to enjoy its tax benefits once you leave the job with the retirement plan. Nothing could be farther from the truth if you handle the account properly. So once you're no longer employed by a company that offers your retirement plan, you've got 5 options for managing it. And we're going to go through all 5. But the 5th option I'm going to cover is the worst. So make sure you stay with me. I never recommend you do that one. So let's get started with all of the options that you've got. Number one is to keep your retirement plan with an ex-employer. Most retirement plans allow you to keep money in the account after you're no longer employed. However, you must maintain a minimum balance. So it could be something like, having at least $5,000 in the account. And if you don't have the minimum in that old account, the custodian typically can transfer your funds into an IRA or individual retirement account in your name. And I'll cover more about IRAs in just a moment. Leaving money in an old retirement plan isn't the worst money move, but it gives you less flexibility than the other options I'm going to cover. Your ex-employer could radically change the retirement plan without you knowing what's going on. So, you just don't have as much insight into the plan once you're no longer there. So I only recommend leaving money in an old employer's retirement plan if it's a stable company, you really love the investment choices, and it charges low fees. But be sure the plan doesn't charge higher fees once you're no longer an active employee. The main pro for leaving retirement money in an ex-employer's plan is that it stays invested and it grows. But the downside is that you can't make any new contributions to the account because the plan's sponsor no longer employs you. However, you can still manage the account. The funds that you already have, you can manage them by selling or buying investments and just allowing that balance to grow. All right, so your second option is to roll over your retirement funds to a new or an existing IRA. This is called doing an IRA rollover, and it's generally the best option for a retirement plan with an old employer if you do it correctly. So this is when you withdraw some or all of your balance in a retirement account, and then you transfer it to another eligible retirement account. However, to avoid taxes and penalties, the accounts have to be compatible, such as transferring a traditional 401k to a traditional IRA. In other words, you can't roll over a pre-tax traditional 401k to an after-tax Roth IRA without paying taxes on the total amount. However, you can transfer a Roth 401k to a Roth IRA. Some pros for rolling over a workplace plan to an IRA include having more control. You choose the financial institution and the investments for your IRA. Paying lower fees. A workplace plan may sometimes charge higher fees than an IRA, depending on the platform you choose. And having more flexibility. If needed, you can tap your funds before the official retirement age of 59 and a half more easily with an IRA than with a workplace account. Now, the main con of doing an IRA rollover is that it may have fewer legal protections. Depending on your home state, assets in an IRA may have less legal protection from creditors than a workplace plan, which gets coverage under the Federal Employee Retirement Income Security Act, which is called ERISA. Therefore, if you're having financial difficulties and you're behind on bill payments or think a bankruptcy could be in your future, you want to get legal advice before making any decisions about your retirement funds. The critical IRA rollover rule you must follow is to complete it within 60 days. If you miss that deadline and you're younger than 59 and a half, the transaction would be considered an early withdrawal, subject to income tax, plus an additional 10% early withdrawal penalty. However, completing a rollover to a tax-compatible account within 60 days means you pay no taxes and no penalties. If you need to open a new traditional or Roth IRA, there are many online investing platforms you can check out, and in many cases, they will do a direct rollover for you where the funds get automatically transferred into your new account without you having to handle them. Okay, the third option you have for retirement funds with an old employer is to roll over your retirement funds to a new workplace plan. Most 401ks and 403bs allow a rollover from your old employer's plan once you're eligible to participate in the new plan. So check with your benefits administrator about what's possible. And just like an IRA rollover, you have to complete a workplace plan transfer within 60 days to avoid income tax and a penalty. Some pros for doing a workplace-to-workplace rollover are having convenience. Consolidating your retirement funds in one account may make managing and tracking your investments easier. Taking early withdrawals. If you retire, you can take penalty-free withdrawals from a workplace plan as soon as age 55, but you have to wait until age 59 and a half with an IRA. Getting more legal protections. As I mentioned, ERISA coverage doesn't allow creditors to touch your workplace retirement balance, which may be a consideration with an IRA depending on the laws in your home state. And getting loans. In some cases, workplace plans allow you to borrow money from yourself and repay it with interest over 5 years, which is not permitted with an IRA. The cons for moving money from one workplace plan to another include having less flexibility. While loans may be possible, you can only withdraw from a 401k or 403b once you leave the company or you qualify for an allowable hardship. Those restrictions don't apply when you have an IRA. And having less control. As I mentioned, depending on your employer's chosen brokerage firm, you may have fewer investment choices or even higher fees than with an IRA. All right, your fourth option is to roll over your retirement funds to a self-employed plan. If you have self-employment income, it could be a part-time or full-time side gig or business, you can move funds into a retirement plan for the self-employed, such as a solo 401k or SEP IRA. A benefit is that they allow higher annual contribution limits than an IRA. However, a downside of transferring funds to a self-employed plan is that it may offer fewer legal protections than a workplace plan, again, depending on the laws in your home state. You'll find many investing platforms that offer small business retirement plans, and your options will depend on whether you have employees or you plan to have employees in your business. All right, the fifth and final option that we'll cover is the worst. It's to cash out your retirement funds. Cashing out a retirement plan after leaving a job may be the easiest but worst option. As I mentioned, if you're younger than 59 and a half, cashing out would be an early withdrawal, subject to income tax plus an additional 10% penalty. Let's say your 401k vested balance is $100,000 and your average tax rate is 25%. After you account for the additional 10% early withdrawal penalty, you would lose 35% of your retirement funds, leaving you with just $65,000. So I never recommend cashing out a retirement account early because it's just too expensive. Also, note that if your retirement account has a low balance, such as $1,000 or less, the plan custodian may automatically cash it out for you. If so, they must withhold 20% for taxes, although you may owe more or less than that to the government. The plan custodian will file Form 1099-R to document the retirement distribution and pay you the balance. Then you're going to settle any difference in taxes that you owe or should be refunded on your next tax return. To sum up, the best place for retirement money with an old employer depends on the quality of your old plan and the flexibility and legal protections that you want. Your goal should be to keep your retirement money where it can grow using low-cost, diversified investment options. If you have questions about rollovers, contact your old retirement plan's custodian. They can walk you through the process, ensure you follow the rules, and help you avoid paying taxes and penalties on your retirement funds. That's all for now. I'll talk to you soon. Until then, here's to living a richer life. Money Girl is a quick and dirty tips podcast. It's audio engineered by Steve Rickyberg. Our director of podcast is Brandon Gachus. Our digital operations specialist is Holly Hutchins. Our advertising operations specialist is Morgan Christensen. Our marketing and publicity associate is Davina Tomlin. And our marketing assistant is Cameron Lacey.